Sometimes there's a quiet kind of relationship that doesn't end with a breakup. It just never fully begins. Because no matter how much you plan or talk or try and move forward, there's always something pulling one of you back. In this case, it isn't distance, it isn't timing, it's his mother. And the unsettling part, she doesn't actually stop him from leaving. He just never does. On the surface, this is a pretty ordinary modern relationship. Two people in their 20s, long distance for a few years, finally at that stage where someday needs to become a real plan. Choose a city, move in together, build something stable. And logically, the choice seems obvious. Her city has more opportunities, shorter commutes, more growth potential. He's even lived there before and liked it. So the issue isn't preference, it's permission. And not hers, his. Because in his mind, leaving doesn't feel like starting a new chapter. It feels like abandoning an old one. What makes this situation complicated isn't just family closeness, it's dependence. And not the kind that comes from illness or circumstance, the kind that just slowly becomes normal. There was a time when his parents were managing just fine, living their lives, handling things independently. Even when he was hours away at university, they didn't need him much. But something shifted when he moved back home. Not suddenly, just gradually, until he became the centre of everything. Now, daily life seems to orbit around him, not because it has to, but because it's easier that way. Take something simple, like getting groceries. A short walk away, completely manageable, but his mother won't go alone. Not because she physically can't, but because she doesn't want to. So instead, she waits. Or communication. After 10 years in the country, the language barrier hasn't improved. Not because it's impossible, but because it's avoidable. There's always been someone there to translate, to step in, smooth things over, to make sure she never has to sit in that discomfort of figuring it out herself. And when that support isn't immediately available, she'd rather go without than try. And that's where this stops being about language and starts being about reliance. Then there's the part that feels harder to ignore, the cost, not emotional, financial. He's turning down better jobs, like significantly better ones, opportunities that would move his life forward and by extension, theirs. But they come with one condition. They're not fully remote, which means he wouldn't be able to drop everything in the middle of the day to drive somewhere, translate something, or pick something up. So he says no again and again. Like, wow, this is some serious codependence going on here. And so many people are like these guys' mother, and not just the older generation. It's the mindset of why put in the effort when someone else will do it for me. And honestly, this guy might like it. That feeling of being needed, of having someone dependent on him. Because when he imagines moving forward, moving in together, sharing a life with his girlfriend, it still becomes a caveat. He'd need to go back regularly, a week at a time, every month, not a visit as a responsibility. At some point, she realizes something uncomfortable. They're not planning a life together, they're planning a life around someone else. There's also something quieter happening in the background, that emotional tether. His daily check-ins, the constant communication, the sense that even when he's physically somewhere else, part of him is still with his mother. And none of these things are wrong. On their own, they're just signs of closeness. But together, they start to feel like an obligation. The turning point comes when she stops softening her words. Because up until now, this has probably been framed quite gently, carefully. But eventually, frustration has a way of becoming clarity. And so she says it plainly. He's not just helping, he's enabling. And that word lands heavily because it reframes everything. It suggests that this isn't just about a mother who needs support. It's about a system that only works because he keeps sustaining it. From his perspective, it feels unfair, even cruel. He sees anxiety, vulnerability, family responsibility. From her perspective, it feels unsustainable because every time he steps in, he removes the need for anything to change. And if nothing changes, then this, exactly as it is what their future looks like. And it's a big burden for anyone to take on because let's be honest, it is a burden. It will impact every decision they make together for the rest of their life. Right now, they haven't made a final decision. No one has officially walked away, but they've reached something that feels just as significant. A standstill, a moment where they've realized a decision does have to be made. He believes staying this involved is what being a good son looks like. She believes that without boundaries, there's no room left to be a partner. And the uncomfortable truth is they both might be right. But being right doesn't solve the problem because this isn't just about values. It's about capacity. There are only so many hours in a day, so much energy, so much attention to give. And right now, most of his is already spoken for, which leaves her in a difficult position. Not competing exactly, but waiting. Waiting for space to exist in a life that already feels full. And the longer it stays like this, the more this relationship starts to feel like something that only exists in theory rather than something that can actually grow into a life together. So here's the question. At what point does supporting family quietly turn into sacrificing your own future? And if someone you love never sets boundaries, is it fair to ask them to choose? Or is the choice already being made for you and you just need the courage to see that? Thanks for judging that one with me on Am I the Asshole But Then? Let's see if your verdict changes next time.